Do you believe that time travel is possible? Do we on Earth experience time as it truly is? Are all experiences and historical narratives neatly organized in a past, present, and future package? There is a myriad of ways any potential timeline could play out. But who's to say that all possible timelines aren't happening all at once, yet only one scenario is chosen to be consciously experienced? Project Looking Glass was a top-secret government operation started in the 1970s that endeavored to create a machine where they could look into the future, even observe how different timelines would play out. There are countless factors that go into what timeline ultimately occurs. So if prior knowledge of the desired timeline is known beforehand, then in theory, current events could be manipulated to ensure the desired outcome. This government-made looking glass device is rumored to utilize advanced quantum computing and physics to see into future timelines. Perhaps it was even reverse-engineered technology from a relic of an advanced galactic civilization. Although I am told it's a very rudimentary version of a much more advanced technology and capabilities of the alien species we will meet today. Timeline manipulation can be very, very dangerous, even destroy an entire planet when in the wrong hands. Those who partake in manipulating timelines and history must have the utmost ethical standards of practice and understanding of its power. Let me introduce an ET race called the Awevls, known as the oracles of the universe, a realm that is the universal convergence of all time, and the Awevls themselves, the timekeepers. Greetings, and thank you all for watching. For those who are just tuning in, my name is Erin Lynn. I'm an Akashic record researcher and galactic channel. So hold on, we have a wild one for you today. This group is a challenge for me to describe and explain to you all. So we're going to feature this second unknown galactic species from the Pegasus Constellation. The first galactic race I covered from there was Beta Pegasi, a friendly neighbor to these beings. The realm we are discussing today is the third brightest star in the Pegasus constellation, and it makes up one of the corners of the great square of Pegasus in the sky. So it's an easy star to spot at nighttime, and it's also a major astrological feature. So an unusual ET race inhabits that planet, one that performs an important job. And it's my current understanding that this great square of Pegasus also has an important meaning for our entire universe. And this meaning will become more apparent in future episodes. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Breaking with the traditional Bayer designation labeling, Alpha Pegasi is the third brightest star in the Pegasus constellation. Typically, the Greek letter alpha is given to the brightest star in the constellation. Although the confusion with the planetary name doesn't end there. The star also has an Arabic name of Markab, which is what it's most often referred to by. And the galactic race that inhabits Markab, otherwise known as Alpha Pegasi, prefers to be known by their own name for their world, which is Awevl. Like the Anlkkol race I previously featured, the spelling of their planetary name may look awkward when using the English alphabet, but that is how I was instructed to spell and pronounce it. These beings introduced themselves to me in a non-traditional way. Not through an Akashic record reading, although a few Starseed clients began to show up after I first met them. But it was one night in May of 2022. I was mentally and physically exhausted from the day. Finally, when bedtime arrived, and as soon as I closed my eyes, I saw a tall, humanoid being with a metallic face and undefined features, like it was wearing a mask. The rest of its body was solid black. Although the physical appearance of this alien was intimidating and odd, I'd never seen anything like it before. I didn't feel scared. The being said that they'd been wanting to meet with me, and while that was okay with me, I need to get some sleep, so I agreed to meet up with them later to dive into who they are and astral travel to their planet. And this group has been a challenge for me to fully grasp, but that's just because of my own shortcomings. They are very patient with me, although I suppose patience is easy when you control all time. The Awevls love Earth and are watching it closely, and they are assisting Earth in its ascension to the 5th dimension. Awevl society is currently and has always been in the 9th dimension. And this is a benevolent group whose planet is densely populated and always appears busy. While the ambient energy there feels chaotic to me, the Awevls do not see it that way, as they are accustomed to receiving massive amounts of information all at once and processing it rapidly. Eons ago, the Awevls developed a technology that both looks like and is held in front of their body like a shield. And this shield is most similar to what we would describe a seamless convex mirror. And this convex mirror shield is then angled towards anything or anyone, and it will quickly show all possibilities and outcomes of timelines pertaining to that subject that is in reflection of that mirror. It's somewhat oval-shaped. It's about 3.5 feet or 107 centimeters wide and almost 6 feet tall, about 177 centimeters. The Awevls call it their timeline discovery device. And this is the technology I was referring to that's far ahead of anything Project Looking Glass may or may not have. The Awevls steadfastly deny providing any technology or information to our earthly government. They do not work with them in any capacity. Naturally, this device generates a massive amount of data that's delivered instantaneously. We Earth humans could not even take in all that information in our lifetime. But the Awevls can process all that data effortlessly and then make an informed decision. These beings are masters at processing huge amounts of data constantly. They are living, breathing supercomputers. Awevls do not need to physically travel back or forward to any time. They can just see it accurately as if they're experiencing it for themselves. And as a result of living with this technology, the Awevls as a culture tend to exercise caution about the decisions they make and take their time to examine all possibilities before taking a leap. Now, all Awevls have these mirror shields of their own and do use them frequently, like we would use a desktop computer. They created this technology so that they could make the best decisions for their group and by extension, the rest of the universe. The Awevls are indeed the oracles of our universe. The Awevls tell me time can be as fast or as slow as you wish it to be. One Awevl starseed client corroborated this. He remarked that in his current Earth life, he has occasionally been able to control the speed of time. Awevl beings are humanoid in shape and stand approximately 10 feet or 3 meters tall. They have solid black bodies and have featureless yet angular red and black faces. The lines on their faces are geometrically patterned, and their faces look to be like metallic masks, but they are not. That is simply their face. The Awevls are hairless, and they have fitted black body suits with hoods that are their clothing. So those red and black faces are their actual bodies. They are living, breathing, organic beings, not robots or AI. Interestingly, that first Awevl that had contacted me in May of 2022 had a light gold metallic face, but with the same geometric features. When I asked about this discrepancy, I was told that they can adjust the color, but not the shape of the features of their faces. The gold color was chosen as they felt my response to them would be most favorable if they had that color. So they checked all potential timelines on that one, and I wasn't scared, so I suppose it worked. While Awevls cannot technically fly, they can jump high in the air and do flips. Leaping in the air while doing amazing feats of acrobatics is effortless for them. When visiting their world, they're constantly doing interplanetary parkour. They're even doing these amazing physical feats while still holding their timeline discovery devices. And whenever I see them interact on their world, it's always like they have this time-lapse trail of energy behind them. And if I happen to get caught in one of those clear, energetic wakes, I get frozen and disoriented, like I too am stuck in time. An Akashic record reading client who was an Awevl starseed said he had clear memories of having the ability to jump to great heights. Interestingly, I also read the soul record of someone's pet cat, who was also an Awevl starseed. So yes, there are also felines on their world. This cat would be constantly leaping to extremely high heights. And agreed, cats are generally good at jumping. This I will admit. Although this feline was an outrageous jumper, even for a cat, and would leap all day to greater heights than what's typical. So I suppose old habits do die hard, even when on a different planet. Whenever I communicate with them, it's never just with one Awevl, but a collective of them speaking in unison. So Awevl speak via telepathy or energy because they don't have a spoken language. And these aliens are cautious and tend to take their time weighing all options before deciding on a course of action. But they're also kind and really willing to help those in need. But they will also be willing to receive help. And they said paying it forward is an important tenet in their culture. And Awevls are empathic to the trauma suffered by those who have willingly experienced evil or negative timelines. However, for themselves, they generally tend to be negative timeline adverse and prefer to proceed with the highest timeline possible. Perhaps that's why they usually refrain from earthly incarnations. And when I ask the Awevls how long their average lifespan is, they cannot answer that question, as a measurement of time is meaningless to them. So I'm going to assume that it's longer than we Earth humans generally live for. Since we've been correlating pop culture characters to their alien species lookalikes, I did ask if the Awevls were the muse for the evil Sith Lord Darth Maul featured in the more recent Star Wars movies. I figured it was worth asking with Darth Maul's all-black clothing, black and red painted face, and acrobatic abilities. I received a resounding no, that the Awevls are not in any way connected or influenced that character. So there's the answer to that burning question. So communicating with them is no problem, and I do like them. However, I find the planet Awevl difficult to spend too much time on. The energy there feels so chaotic and fast that I get anxious when I visit. It's a place that's challenging for me to wrap my head around. It's a uniquely beautiful realm, but it feels like a frenetic acid trip. This intense swirling and bombardment of information is of no issue, for the Awevl beings, as they're experts at managing and making sense of large amounts of information. It's their happy place. The most striking feature of their planet is the black, sparkly sand ground covering. And when you touch it, this black substance feels like a coarser sand that you'd find at the beach, but it's compact and your feet don't sink in it as you walk on it. This sand is everywhere and blankets the landscape, and I've not seen anything else like it on any other planet I've visited thus far. This environment covered in black is both ominous and beautiful looking to me. And it's important to note, the planet is not negative, nor are the ETs that reside there. To the contrary, they are extremely helpful to others throughout our universe. And these feelings are just because I'm looking at their world through my earthly perspective. There are many 50-foot to 100-foot or 15 to 30-meter tall, black, tower-like sandstone rock structures on their world. And these massive towers are covered in that same glittery black material as the ground. And if one touches one of these towers, they receive a download of all its contents. And the contents include vast, detailed information on multiple timelines, both chosen and not chosen, like an external hard drive of sorts. And I was immediately faced with a tsunami of information when I touched one. Since I'm not an Awevl, it was simply too much for me to process in any meaningful way. And these towers are like the Akashic records, but do not contain the exact same information. So the Akashic record library contains all information about a soul's journey for an eternity. And the information is not supposed to ever be deleted. But the tower structures on Awevl hold all potential timelines for their planet and other planets. However, this timeline data is not kept forever, as it does get purged periodically. In continuing with the chaos, their flat, deep blue sky is filled with a huge, rapidly rotating vortex. To where, I do not know. But as I walk around, seedling plants are bursting out of the ground and growing to full maturity in seconds, as if the entire life cycle of seed to mature plant is completed in no time. And then the plant goes away and the process starts all over again. So do you think you could live in such an environment? Awevl participates and performs a vital role in the Galactic Federation of Light, or GFL for short. Many of the directives for the GFL missions originate from the Awevl's timeline information. They do have the ability and expertise to examine all potential timelines on any planet anywhere in the universe. Therefore, the Awevls do not get physically involved in the galactic missions or battles pertaining to the GFL. So their participation, while extremely vital, is informational only. Their UFOs are equipped with much larger and stationary timeline discovery devices as they are crunching the data for a larger location. They are always monitoring other planetary timelines while on their spacecrafts and will alert others if an issue is looming in the future. Depending on where and what the issue is, another group in the GFL with the necessary expertise will be deployed to head off the potential problem. A group the Awevls work closely with and frequently deployed to handle issues are the Syrmas, who I covered in depth in a past video. They also forward most of their interplanetary analyses to the Ankans, another group I have covered. The Awevls stationed on their world, who are not involved in the GFL matters, will instead focus on the various timelines at home. As I mentioned, this galactic species does use UAPs, but they do not come near Earth. Awevl crafts do not need to necessarily be near the physical planet to analyze its timelines, although sometimes they do. The UFOs themselves are black, smooth, large, and saucer-shaped. And these round spaceships are two-story, with the bottom level appearing larger than the top level. From an outside-looking-in perspective, the second level is almost barely visible from the side view. And there are also 3 diagonal red lighted stripes, and I'm told these are like call lights of some kind. So at the top in the center of the second story of these massive ships is a comparatively small antenna that's barely visible. The larger timeline discovery devices that are inside their spaceships are located on the second level. And these devices also look like smooth convex mirrors, but are much larger and on a solid platform versus being carried like a shield. And this platform can rotate and move on its own as needed. And the Awevl being shown me that they stand around the edge of this platform and kind of gaze into the device to see these various timelines play out in very rapid succession. And this small antenna at the top of the craft is somehow connected to this large convex mirror device and works in tandem with it. Awevl ships generally fly silently and slowly. However, their UFOs do have the capability to move quickly and leave a location when necessary. It appears these ships usually park themselves somewhere and tend to stay stationary while they're observing something. I hope you found learning about the Awevls enlightening. Would you like the ability to control time and timelines? Let me know in the comments if you struggle with the conceptualizing of nonlinear time. Although I've experienced the aspect of nonlinear time, it's still very challenging for me to explain. Perhaps you have a better way to explain it. If so, kindly inform me in the comments below. And what do you think about this alien species that can create order out of timeline chaos? Any ET groups mentioned here that I've made videos about before, the links will be in the pinned comment. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, and enjoy my other videos highlighting other unknown galactic races in our universe. And should you want to have your Akashic record read by me, the link to the website is below. In the meantime, I love you all, and welcome to a higher dimension.